Where's the wine bar in town?
It's called Sheer Down. It's the
All
old
right,
studio.
good to go.
north.
All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Try to get the right order right this time. Is the disclosure of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof. Are there any? Seeing none, I'm going to read the land acknowledgement. Correct me if I get things in the wrong order here. We would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which includes the Chippewas of Nawash unceded First Nation and the Chippewas of Saugeen First Nation. We also recognize the Métis whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. We extend our gratitude to all Anishinaabe and Métis people and their descendants, past, present, and future, who continue to care for and inhabit these lands and tend these waters. Going to call for the adoption of the previous minutes. Can I have a mover? Lynn, second. Terry. Any questions, concerns from the minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Welcome. We are here together today to learn about applications for minor variance and consent applying to certain lands in the municipality of Meaford. I'm going to start by introducing members of this committee and staff. I'm Linda Van Alst. I'm vice chair of this committee. Our chair is absent today. We also have committee members Terry Williams, Lynn Whitbeck, and Ed Ormsby. Our planning staff in attendance include Denise McHardy, acting secretary treasurer for this committee and planner and manager of development services. Margaret Potter, a planner with the municipality assisting with secretary duties, and Sabrina Barlow, development service assistant. While this committee is legally required to make decisions that conform to the county and local official plans, the Planning Act and municipal policy and procedures encourage us to reach out to you, members of this community, to hear your thoughts about the proposed applications. Your constructive comments will help us learn more about your neighborhood, which in turn will help us to make informed decisions. Those who have pre-registered for today's meetings or are in attendance will have an opportunity to speak. I will call on you at the appropriate time. You do not have to be solely in support or opposition. It is okay to share your thoughts about those elements that you do and don't like about the proposal and to ask questions as well. The applicant will have an opportunity to respond to questions and comments raised. Anyone who wishes to receive notice of any decision on any of the applications being heard today will need to contact the secretary treasurer by email at planning@meaford.ca or by phone at 519-538-1060, extension 1120. So this is a meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to consider an application for minor variance under Section 45 of the Planning Act for lands known as 289 Eliza Street in the municipality of Meaford. The requirement for notice. The requirement to hold this meeting is that there must be at least 10 days notice as prescribed by Ontario Regulation 200/96 to the Planning Act. Margaret, please confirm to me the day the notice was published and calculate that we had at least 10 days notice.
Certainly. Notice was published on May 6th, giving more than the required 10 days notice.
Thank you. Will you please summarize the application and provide us with any comments that have been received concerning this proposal?
Yes, application A07-2022 requests a variance to allow the owners to add a second-story addition to their existing house. The house currently has a setback of 1.02 meters on the east side of the property, which encroaches into the required side yard. The owners are proposing to locate the addition to match the same setback location of the existing first and second stories. This application requests specifically then relief from sections 4.1, 4.1 B and C and table 6.2.1 of the zoning bylaw for the proposed second story addition to be constructed with a setback of 1.02 meters where the zoning bylaw requires a setback of 1.2 meters, representing a relief of 18 centimeters. Comments have been,
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
Comments have been received with recommendation from the Conservation Authority, Grace Sable Conservation Authority, confirming that they generally have no objections noting that a portion of the property is regulated and as such a permit will be required for work within the regulated area.
Thank you. Denise, are there any other additional comments?
No, there were not.
Thank you. Has each member of the committee visited the subject lands? And does anyone have any comment with respect to their site visit or with respect to the application? None? I'll call upon the members of the public present who wish to make comment on this application. Please state your name for the record before beginning. Anyone wish to speak?
Good afternoon, members of committee and staff members. It's Genevieve Scott here. I am one of the owners at 289 Eliza. I don't really have anything to add. I just, if anybody had any questions for me from committee or staff, I'm happy to address them.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for her? Okay. Margaret, will you please provide us with the suggested decision and conditions of the variance?
Certainly. So that the Committee of Adjustment grant minor variance application A07-2022 to permit the development of the lands in accordance with the site sketch as previously described, with one condition that the site development be constructed in a manner substantially in accordance with the submitted site sketch.
Thank you. I'll now call for a motion on the decision as read by the Secretary Treasurer. Moved by Terry, second by Ed. Any comments, discussion on the motion? Should we call for the vote then? All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is easy this time to send it all down this way. Okay, I will open the second meeting. This is a meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to consider an application for minor variance under Section 45 of the Planning Act for lands known as 104 Ridgecrest Lane in the Municipality of Meaford. The requirement to hold this meeting is there must be at least 10 days notice as prescribed by Ontario Regulation 200/96 to the Planning Act. Margaret, please confirm to me the day the notice was published and calculate that we had at least 10 days notice.
Certainly. Notice was published also on May 6th for this application, giving more than the required notice.
Thank you. Could you please summarize the application and provide us with any comments that have been received concerning this proposal?
Yes, application A08-2022 requests a variance to allow the owners to add a pool within their backyard. The property zone has a site-specific building envelope outlined in Schedule D2 of the zoning bylaw. The owners would like to locate a pool outside the building envelope and directly behind the existing house. This application requests specifically relief from Schedule D2 of the zoning bylaw for the proposed pool and pool fence to be constructed outside the D2 building envelope at a front yard setback of 76.31 meters. Comments have been received with no concern or recommendation from Saugeen Ojibwe Nation and Grace Elbow Conservation Authority, and one member of the public, Judy Pickett, has written to indicate no problem, so vote in favor of this action.
Thank you. Denise, are there any other additional comments regarding this?
There were none, thanks.
Thank you. Again, has each member of the committee visited the site, and do they have any member of the committee have any comment with respect to their site visit or with respect to the application? No? I'll call upon the members of the public present who wish to make a comment on this application. Please state your name for the record before beginning. Okay, no one on the line either? No? Okay. Are there any points raised that anyone wishes to reply to? I guess there were no points raised, so can you please provide us with the suggested decision and the conditions of the variance?
Certainly. That the Committee of Adjustment grant minor variance application A08-2022 to permit the development of the lands in accordance with the site sketch with subject to two conditions: that the site development be constructed in a manner substantially in accordance with the submitted sketch, and that the deck and fence associated with the pool may extend beyond the boundaries of the pool, not more than 5 meters, providing a rear yard setback of not less than 96 meters, and shall not be closer to the south side yard than the existing D2 building envelope.
Thank you. I will now call for a motion on the decision. Can I have a mover? Lynn, seconder? Ed, thank you. I'll now call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay. This is for B02, B03, B04-22. This is a meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to consider these applications for consent under Section 53 of the Planning Act for lands known as 138, 130, and 102 Georgian Beach Lane in the municipality of Meaford. The requirement to hold this meeting is there must be at least 14 days notice as prescribed by Ontario Regulation 53(5) to the Planning Act. Margaret, please confirm to me the day the notice was published and calculate that we had at least 14 days notice.
Certainly, notice was given on May 5th, giving the required notice.
Thank you. Could you please summarize the application and provide us with any comments that have been received concerning this proposal?
Yes, applications B02, B03, and B04 2022 are being presented together as they seek to create 4-meter wide easements to provide access to parcels that do not front on an open and maintained municipal road. The parcels front what is known as Georgian Beach Road South, a marine road allowance. The applications recognize an existing situation for access to these lots. Comments have been received from Grey County Planning Department indicating that staff do not generally support shared access due to potential for longer-term conflict among landowners. However, given the proposal is to correct an existing situation, the proposal may be appropriate in this instance. It is recommended that the easements be legally established on title to each property. They also recommend comments be received from Grey Sable Conservation Authority as the lands are within adjacent lands to significant woodlands. The Grey Sable Conservation Authority has indicated no objection, and Saugeen Ojibwe Nation has indicated no concern if there's no shoreline development proposed.
Thank you. Denise, are there any other additional comments?
No, there were not. Thank you.
Thank you. Has each member of the committee visited the subject lands? And does any member of the committee have a comment with respect to their site visit or with respect to the application? Ed?
Madam Chair, are these the only 4 that haven't got the access? Is that everyone else does along there?
So through you, Madam Chair, it's our understanding that's true. So everybody else has access to Georgian Beach Lane directly, except for the properties that are to receive the easements. So those ones don't front directly on Georgian Beach Lane. They may have to travel through another property first. They may front on Georgian Beach Road or what was previously Georgian Beach Road South, but they don't have that direct access onto the lane.
Thank you. I will now call upon them. I'll ask the committee first. Terry, you had a comment, sir.
Yeah, I'm just curious in terms of if it's a 4-meter wide easement. Is that satisfactory to get to both lots 54 and 55 without? Because that is almost split as you look at it on the.
So through you, Madam Chair, it's my understanding that that would apply to both properties. So I'm not sure if it just provides, usually easements are wider than they need to be. So even if they are reciprocal, meaning a portion on each property, usually they're wider than necessary. So we've been told by the applicant and their lawyer that this is sufficient, but the actual final reference plans are still to be submitted. And if any tweaking would need to happen, that could still be done. but that we've been told 4 meters is sufficient. Certainly the applicants can speak to why 4 meters, but that has been deemed to so far to be appropriate.
If I may just get further clarification on that. The one, is there a guarantee that it splits the property between lot 54 and 55 as opposed to going directly to one of them and then creating an issue where they would have to have an easement across a second lot?
So Madam Chair, that I think at this point, this is probably better for the applicants to speak to it. I know that they've spent a lot of work to get to this point and probably know better. I certainly, when I went out there, I don't have survey trackers or anything like, I don't have bar trackers. So I wasn't checking all the survey bars that were out there to measure, but I believe what they've applied for is to recognize those existing driveways. And it would have to be cleaned up enough that you could get on and off, in some cases, multiple parts. So multiple parts are included. And if it helps at all, so far we have a draft set of legal descriptions from the lawyer to verify what they believe would provide legal access to all the parcels. So this isn't being done in isolation from one another. We're just an applicant's trying to do something, but hasn't received legal advice. So hopefully between all of us, those final legal descriptions will be adequate. But I would defer to the applicant's representatives to provide any further nitty gritty about why they chose what they did and whether or not they can answer your question directly, if that's fair.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
No other
No?
questions. If we
Nobody?
can get an
Okay.
answer.
I'm going to call upon the members of the public present who wish to make a comment on this application. Please state your name for the record before beginning. Anyone wish to speak? Is there anyone that wants to address the 4 meter question?
Peter Turner is my name. I'm a resident of Georgian Beach Lane and a representative of the Association of Cottagers. The applicants are also here, so you could get it direct from them too. But the drawing that came with your materials, I think answers your question, which is that the driveway to the 3 properties that you're probably asking about is not just the straight 4 meters into one, but rather broadens out in 2 directions to service all of the middle one, part of the one on the one side, part of the one on the other side, so that each of the 3 gets. But perhaps you've looked at it. I don't know.
have.
Okay. Does it answer your question?
It answers my question. It's just the way the variance application was written. It doesn't explain that in my mind. So,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
No one else is wishing to speak? Are there any points raised at the applicant, committee, or public that anyone wishes to respond to? Okay, seeing none, Margaret, please provide us with the suggested decisions and the conditions of the consent.
So the decision wording is the same for all. So I'll read it once, but it will apply to all 3 of the applications, which would be to create a 4 meter easement for driveway access, that the committee grant provisional consent subject to 2 conditions, that the final R plan and draft easement wording be provided to the municipality for review to the satisfaction of the municipality, and that the owner provide a description of the lands and deposited reference plan, which can be registered in the land registry office.
Thank you.
Now, I do believe we have to have 3 decisions.
3 decisions. So, okay, I'll call then for the first one,
E02.
which is E02, is that right?
Yeah.
So I'll call for a motion on that. I have a mover.
Which one is that referring to? Which property?
I'm going to go with 138. I'm guessing it's the same as what's up at the top. I probably shouldn't do that, but I'll go with 138. So that will be the first one. So Lynn moved. If I could have a seconder. Ed, any discussion? Terry?
Yeah. In the wording, it stated a 4-meter easement. That's clearly what's not shown on the drawing because it widens out at the bottom. Can we revise that one to say an easement as shown in the attached sketch as opposed to a 4-meter?
So Madam Chair, we can, I did include, so one of the things that has changed in your draft decision that you have in front of you, and you don't have a copy in front of you, is that their sketch is now included. So in the past, we just had a decision, it stood alone, but now we have the sketch included in the decision as an attachment. So if that gives you a level of comfort, if you want to just take out 4-meter wide, that's fine. But we do have it in as an attachment.
I personally would feel more comfortable because we previously typically, as always said, as close to the sketch as possible. So
Is that okay with the mover and seconder?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay now.
Yeah, further clarification is always good.
I'm going to call for the vote then. All in favor? That's carried. So now I will call for a motion on the decision for 130 Georgian Beach Lane. Could I have a mover? Lynn, seconder Ed. Any discussion? Seeing
Same
none, I'll
thing.
call for the vote. All in favor?
Wouldn't that be the same issue? Because it's the other side.
As, will it all read that way with
it only
the
goes to one, I think,
sketch attached?
or
No, I thought it went to
Yes,
the other one
Margaret.
too.
Yes, I'm just
Oh,
not sure if they have
okay.
a follow-up question, sorry. Through you, what we could do is just write minimum 4-meter wide easement on all of them, and then it could be refined. Or do you want the width taken out? They all do have the condition of the sketch attached. They all have the sketch attached.
but the condition, excuse me, but the condition was not registered in the recommendation.
Can show you, it's actually in this decision. Like this, these 2 pages are the
Okay.
decision, so the sketch is right as part of the decision. I guess this is a revamped decision, so it's unfamiliar.
Okay. Then leave it as a minimum.
Minimum.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to call for the motion. All in favor? Thank you. And now 102 Georgian Beach Lane. So the same decision with the sketch attached. Do I have a mover? Terry, second Lynn. Any discussion on this one? No? Call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And that's all the decision, all the public meetings, correct? So
Do we not have to announce the appeal period?
oh, yes, I forgot that. That wasn't on there. So now, can you describe what's going to happen? I forgot that with the other ones as well.
Certainly. Well, I think everyone is here for these final ones, so
Right.
that's probably appropriate. So with respect to the appeal period, it is 20 days long from the date that the decision goes out. So hopefully that will be this week. And then the 20 days will start from the date that that notice is sent.
Okay.
Following which it'll be in force if there's no appeals.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions on that? No? All right. There's no other business, no new business. Our next meeting then is June 22nd, and that will be back at council chambers?
I
Or is
believe,
this considered council chambers now?
Well, it'd be closer for me, but no, I believe it's still going to be here. And maybe one more until maybe July before we're in council chambers.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we still having the property standards meeting in advance?
Yes, yes, property standards meeting will be held prior to the committee of adjustment.
And we'll get notice of what time for sure.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be 1 or 1:30.
And do you have a sense of when we get our binders back?
Property standards binders? No, I don't really know anything about that process, but we can try to get that information for you if you're looking for those binders.
Yes, given that there were updates to it, which is why they took them in the first place, I think it's appropriate that we get them back.
Okay.
I'd forgotten they were even gone. Okay, if there's nothing further, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone. I don't get to do this very often, so. Thank you.